มสาระความรู้ก่อนใครได้ที่ RSU Wisdom TV ทางระบบทีวีดาวเทียมหรือผ่านแอปพลิเคชัน RSU Wisdom TV ดาวน์โหลดแอปพลิเคชันได้ที่ Google Play และ App Store
Sawadika, hello and welcome to ASEAN Challenge, the bilingual show to give you the latest updates and hot issues happening around your ASEAN bloc in two languages, Thai and English. I'm Rosalyn Tepawan.
สวัสดีครับขอต้อนรับท่านผู้ชมเข้าสู่รายการ ASEAN Challenge นะครับรายการที่จะมาอัปเดตเรื่องราวที่น่าสนใจที่เกิดขึ้นรอบๆอาเซียนนะครับในการนำเสนอแบบ bilingual หรือว่าแบบ2ภาษาทั้งภาษาไทยและภาษาอังกฤษครับ
Yes, indeed. And this has been a very important year. This year especially, 2015, is the start of the ASEAN Economic Community, the year that all of ASEAN has been waiting for and has been working up to.
That's correct. And we can look forward to a very prosperous year ahead.
Yes, indeed. Right. But the year before, 2014, has also been a very sentimental year for ASEAN members as well, as everybody tries to really kickstart and polish up all their projects for ASEAN.
There's so many things actually happen in 2014, not just in Thailand, but in every single ASEAN member country.
Right, indeed. All around ASEAN, various member countries have tried to polish their logistics, have tried to really engage cooperation and collaboration between ASEAN countries. And all of the countries have also tried to really homogenize in a way to become compatible with each other.
Yeah, so we've been working very hard actually.
Right.
Including ASEAN Challenge program.
Indeed.
ครับครับท่านผู้ชมครับช่วงแรกนะครับก็ต้องสวัสดีปีใหม่นะครับในปี 2558 หรือว่า 2015 ซึ่งก็เป็นปีที่ปีนี้แหละครับที่เราจะเกิดประชาคมอาเซียนหรือว่า ASEAN Community อย่างเป็นทางการแล้วนะครับก็คิดว่าน่าจะเป็นปีที่ดีมากๆเลยนะครับแต่ว่ามาทบทวนกันสักนิดหนึ่งว่าในปี 2014 ที่ผ่านมานะครับก็เกิดเรียกว่าเหตุการณ์สำคัญต่างๆขึ้นมากมายนะครับในประเทศอาเซียนแล้วก็แน่นอนว่าอาจจะมาทบทวนกันนะครับในวันนี้
So many important things happened over 2014. One of them, of course, is the big shift in leadership in Indonesia, which has been a very pivotal change for the country as well, as Joko Widodo had come up to take the leadership presidency of Indonesia, something that many had been looking forward to because of his fresh perspective on politics and also his down-to-earth kind of leadership skills. Not just that, but his experience in governing Jakarta as well as the governors, the leaders of the area as well. So a very important pivotal move for Indonesia and its direction.
And our show actually have been, updating the things that happen in Indonesia, not just in Indonesia, but also in other ASEAN countries. Our show has been actually updating all of the important events, not only in the political event, but also economic, social, even some entertaining events.
Right, indeed. So ASEAN Challenge has done its utmost to update everybody on a big perspective in relation to all of the ASEAN countries, issues concerning politics, education, economics, disputes as well, with the South China Sea dispute taking the lead in the biggest problem involving almost all ASEAN member countries
ครับก็ถ้ายังจำได้นะครับในตลอดปี 2014 ที่ผ่านมานะครับรายการ ASEAN Challenge ก็นำเสนอนะครับเรื่องราวที่น่าสนใจที่เกิดขึ้นเนี่ยนะครับหลากหลายเรื่องราวเลยนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นเรื่องราวทางการเมืองทางเศรษฐกิจทางสังคมทางวัฒนธรรมนะครับเราก็ได้เห็นนะครับสิ่งที่เกิดขึ้นเรียกว่ามาอัปเดตกันทุกๆสัปดาห์เลยนะครับสิ่งที่เกิดขึ้นรอบๆอาเซียนแล้วก็พาท่านผู้ชมไปชมทั้งในอินโดนีเซียนะครับในสิงคโปร์ในฟิลิปปินส์บรูไนนะครับหลากหลายประเทศทีเดียวไม่ว่าจะเป็นเพื่อนบ้านเรานะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นเมียนมานะครับลาวกัมพูชารวมถึงที่เกิดขึ้นในประเทศไทยด้วยถ้าลองย้อนกลับไปดูนะครับตลอดปี 2014 ก็เรียกว่าเกิดเหตุการณ์สำคัญขึ้นนะครับมากมายทีเดียวแล้วท่านผู้ชมก็ยังสามารถ ติดตามแบบนี้นะครับเรื่อยๆในช่วง ASEAN Around Us นะครับ
Right, indeed.
ก็จะมีสิ่งที่น่าสนใจมากมายซึ่งบางครั้งก็อาจจะไม่ใช่สิ่งที่มันเครียดนักแต่เป็นสิ่งที่นำเสนอเพื่อให้ท่านผู้ชมสามารถอยากจะไปเที่ยวด้วยได้นะครับ
Another highlight on ASEAN Challenge is bridging the gap between various ASEAN countries and showing in a big perspective the similarities, differences, and the compatibilities and incompatibilities between member countries of ASEAN plus friends as well.
Even ASEAN food.
Yes, even ASEAN food, one of the most important issues, or not exactly issues, but highlights around ASEAN. So many similarities and differences. In a recent trip to Indonesia, for example, I tasted a lot of different Indonesian meals and cuisines, and I noticed a lot of similarities in how they use coconut,
ingredients,
curries, herbal spices, various ingredients all relate to a lot of foods in Thailand as well. So many similarities and differences to appreciate and also try together.
Right, and we have already introduced not just Indonesian food in our show, but also Singaporean,
Myanmarese,
Malaysian food, and of course Thai food in our show.
The highlights and you could say signature dishes in each country, national dishes to some point as well.
Exactly. Apart from food and other, political, economical issues, I think in the ASEAN Around Us, the first break of our show, we also introduced you some important dates of ASEAN member countries.
Right, indeed.
Cultural, religious as well.
Right. Many countries also celebrate not only have the similar cuisines and similar dishes, but they also celebrate similar holidays and events as well, like
and
the
some festivals.
Lunar New Year, for example, the New Year Festival. Also, many similarities in how they celebrate, when they celebrate, and also their traditions as well.
Right, and also something like Songkran Festival, a water festival.
Water splashing. So many countries around ASEAN also celebrate that as well.
ใช่แล้ว
in
ครับ
their different ways.
ถ้ามองย้อนกลับไปนะครับก็จะมีเหตุการณ์สำคัญนะครับที่เป็นเหตุการณ์ทางวัฒนธรรมหรืออาจจะเรียกว่าเป็นอีเวนท์ที่น่าสนใจที่เกิดขึ้นนะครับในการเฉลิมฉลองนะครับนอกเหนือจากที่เราพูดถึงว่าในกลุ่มอาเซียนนั้นเนี่ยก็มีอาหารที่อร่อยจากหลากหลายประเทศเลยแล้วก็ได้นำเสนอไปแล้วนะครับนอกจากอาหารจานเด่นของแต่ละประเทศเนี่ยก็ยังมีกิจกรรมนะครับทางวัฒนธรรมของแต่ละประเทศที่มีการเฉลิมฉลองกันนะครับแล้วก็มีความคล้ายคลึงกันนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นเทศกาลสงกรานต์นะครับหรือว่า Water Festival นะครับ Water Splashing Festival รวมไปถึงอาจจะเป็นเรื่องของการเฉลิมฉลองในเรื่องของการไหว้พระจันทร์นะครับงานปีใหม่ต่างๆเนี่ยก็แสดงให้เห็นถึงความเป็นอาเซียนได้ดีทีเดียวนะครับ
Another highlight of course is tourism as well. We talked about so many different hotspots and tourism attractions in various ASEAN countries, which of course will become even more important in this year to come as more people visit ASEAN and more ASEANers visit various ASEAN countries as well. More cultural exchange, more communication, and of course more traveling.
Exactly. Lots of interesting and fascinating destinations
Definitely.
in ASEAN นะครับก็รวมไปถึงเรื่องการท่องเที่ยวด้วยนะครับเราก็ได้นำเสนอเรื่องของการท่องเที่ยวนะครับสถานที่ท่องเที่ยวที่น่าสนใจในอาเซียนซึ่งแน่นอนว่ามีมากมายหลากหลายแต่ละประเทศเนี่ยมีมากกว่าหนึ่งที่แน่นอนนะครับ
So indeed, up ahead, 2015 is a very important year, not just for ASEAN, but for ASEAN Challenge as well. As we continue to update you on the latest developments around ASEAN countries, how each country continues to adapt itself and make itself more compatible with ASEAN and the AEC.
Exactly.
Many countries are still working to complete that gap and to bridge that gap between the AEC countries as well. So this will be a very interesting year.
Yes, and if you keep watching ASEAN Challenge, that will give you all the latest information that will change you to become a full ASEAN citizen.
There you go. In the future, we not only will have just a unified ASEAN, but of course an ASEAN citizen, as you said.
Right.
Indeed, already there are many different techniques or many different methods various countries are taking to really bridge that gap between ASEAN. At airports, for example, they have an ASEAN lane to help speed up the flow and facilitate customs, fast track.
ครับก็ทั้งหมดนี้นะครับท่านผู้ชมเรากำลังพูดถึงความเป็นพลเมืองอาเซียนหรือว่าอาเซียนซิติเซนนะครับซึ่งก็ถ้าท่านอยากเป็นพลเมืองอาเซียนเนี่ยสามารถใช้ข้อมูลจากรายการเราติดตามรายการเรานะครับแล้วก็นำไปปรับใช้ก็สามารถทำให้ตัวท่านเป็นพลเมืองอาเซียนได้นะครับ
There you go. More and more coming up in the steps towards becoming an ASEAN citizen.
Right.
All right. With that said, let's take a short break now. When we come back, lots of updates for you in ASEAN Hot Issue. Stay tuned. Welcome back to ASEAN Challenge, into our ASEAN Hot Issue, from some very important updates coming up, some important developments unfolding, as this has been a very, very crucial, pivotal and tragic year.
Another tragic.
Right, for airlines, as we have another tragedy that has been reported. Indonesia Air Asia flight QZ8501 had gone missing, and many people had come to camp out in front of the airport to wait details on this flight and what happened to the plane and 162 people on board who all went missing.
Right.
Terrible, terrible news indeed.
Again.
In
the 2014
Right.
ครับท่านผู้ชมครับมาอัปเดตนะครับในช่วง ASEAN Hot Issues นะครับมีเรื่องราวที่เพิ่งเกิดขึ้นเลยแล้วก็ต้องนำมาอัปเดตกันนะครับก็เป็นเรื่องโศกนาฏกรรมความเศร้าสลดอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับที่เกิดขึ้นกับเรื่องราวทางการบินนะครับล่าสุดนี้นะครับสายการบิน Air Asia นะครับ Flight QZ8501 นะครับก็ได้หายไปจากจอเรดาร์นะครับเป็นโศกนาฏกรรมอีกครั้งหนึ่งคือตอนนี้หายไปแล้วก็มีการคาดการณ์กันหลากหลายทีเดียวเพราะว่าเครื่องบินลำนี้เนี่ยก็บินได้ระยะทางจริงแค่4ชั่วโมงนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นถึงตอนนี้เนี่ยก็น้ำมันคงไม่น่าจะพอที่อยู่กลางอากาศแล้วนะครับคือวันที่เราอัดรายการกันเนี่ยก็ยังไม่สามารถค้นพบนะครับว่าตอนนี้เครื่องบินอยู่ที่ไหน
Right, at this time the officials and authorities still have not been able to locate the plane, which went off course after the pilot failed to get permission to alter the course to avoid bad weather during a flight from the Indonesia city of Surabaya over to Singapore on Sunday, earlier on Sunday, and many officials have you could say, concluded so far that this has been an accident. And so far, the flight QZ8501 did not issue a distress signal and then disappeared into oblivion over the Java Sea around 5 minutes after requesting a change of course.
Right. And some experts have presumed they perhaps have already crashed into the Java Sea, but at the
assuming
time,
the worst.
Exactly. At the time of our show being recorded, they are still finding.
Indeed. So this is some very tragic news indeed to add to a, you could say, anthology of tragedies that happened over the past year, 2014. But so far, still, locals and families and friends of victims have not lost hope, it seems. Indonesia flight Air Asia plane Airbus, rather A320 to 200 is still missing, and many are trying to make this out, trying to understand why it went missing, what happened.
Exactly.
But still, many have been very emotional in this kind of tragedy, as these accidents have been, you can't say, uncommon over the past year.
Right, even though there are some experts trying to make some analysis that due to the turbulences, perhaps captain need to change the route or even the altitude of the plane.
Right, this has indeed been a very, very turbulent season for Southeast Asia, as well as the monsoon season has come in. Lots of heavy rain in the south and also around Indonesia and Malaysia as well.
And this plane left from Indonesia.
Right, indeed. And with
for
that
Singapore.
said, more details on the plane itself. The flight had 155 Indonesians, 3 South Koreans, 1 from Singapore, Malaysia, and Britain, and the co-pilot himself was French.
Wow. ครับก็เรื่องนี้ก็เป็นเรื่องที่ยังเรียกว่าสร้างความโศกเศร้าให้กับผู้ที่เกี่ยวข้องอยู่พอสมควรนะครับก็สายการบินแอร์เอเชียเที่ยวบินนี้นะครับก็บินออกมาจากเมืองสุราบายาที่อินโดนีเซียนะครับแล้วก็หายไปจากจอเรดาร์นะครับผู้โดยสารก็มีหลากหลายเลยนะครับแต่ว่าส่วนใหญ่นั้นนะครับเป็นชาวอินโดนีเซียนะครับแล้วก็ชาวอินโดนีเซียได้มีมากเลยนะครับถึง156 คนทีเดียวนะครับที่เหลือก็จะเป็นชาวเกาหลีใต้3 คนฝรั่งเศส1 คนมาเลเซีย1 คนสิงคโปร์ 1 คนนะครับ
And just to recap what is being done with authorities to help, it seems that Singapore itself has sent 2 naval vessels to investigate, while Malaysia said it would send 3 naval vessels and a C-130 to help explore. An Australian P-3 Orion surveillance plane had also left Darwin to join the search, according to officials. But not just that, United States, Britain, South Korea, also India have offered assistance.
ครับก็ในเรื่องนี้นะครับนอกจากทางประเทศอินโดนีเซียที่เร่งค้นหานะครับก็ยังมีสิงคโปร์นะครับที่มีการส่งทั้งในส่วนของเรือแล้วก็เครื่องบิน 430 นะครับในส่วนของประเทศออสเตรเลียก็เตรียมส่งเครื่องบิน P3 Orion นะครับก็เข้ามาช่วยค้นหาด้วยนะครับ
Indeed, it seems like Joko Widodo has a lot of challenges set out for him and a lot to do indeed.
Not so long after he became the Indonesian president.
Right. He has
faced with a big challenge.
A big crisis and challenge. Not only that, but he has to work with many countries also as well in the search for the missing plane. So indeed, it hasn't been 6 months, you could say, half a year since he has assumed leadership and
in July.
Right, in July, he has come up with a big challenge here now, and we'll keep you posted on more developments to come in terms of what Indonesia will do.
At that time in July, the news of Joko Widodo or Jokowi was also our Asean hot issue.
Right, very hot issue indeed. There's a lot of challenges Indonesia is facing, not only the missing plane, but possible floods and erosion of the city of Jakarta as well. So a lot of work is up ahead and challenges ahead.
ใช่แล้วครับก็ถ้าเรื่องนี้เนี่ยนะครับเราลองมองดูก็อาจจะมีความน่าสนใจนะครับเพราะว่าเหตุการณ์นั้นก็เกิดขึ้นจากเครื่องบินที่บินออกจากอินโดนีเซียนะครับแล้วก็ถ้ายังจำได้นะครับในช่วงรอบปีที่ผ่านมาข่าวเด่นนะครับที่เป็นฮอตอิชชู1เรื่องเลยก็คือเรื่องการที่ท่านโจโควิโดโดนะครับได้เป็นประธานาธิบดีของอินโดนีเซียซึ่งก็เพิ่งเขารับตำแหน่งไม่นานนี้เองนะครับประมาณสัก6 เดือนที่ผ่านมาเท่านั้นเองนะครับแต่ว่าก็คราวนี้เนี่ยรับตำแหน่งแค่6 เดือนก็ต้องมาเผชิญกับเรียกว่าวิกฤตครั้งสำคัญนะครับก็ต้องดูว่าทางด้านของโจโควิโดโดจะแก้ปัญหานะครับเรื่องนี้อย่างไรหลังจากที่เพิ่งเข้ารับตำแหน่งเพียงไม่นานนะครับแล้วก็ถือว่าเป็นผู้นำที่มีความร้อนแรงทีเดียวช่วงนั้น
Right, indeed. A missing plane definitely has an impact on the image of a country as well, regardless of whether or not it was an accident or not, or something else like a hijacking, which many had assumed to have happened with an earlier flight of Malaysia Airlines 370 as well. Another tragedy that happened earlier in the year 2015.
And it actually affected lots of, passengers' confidence.
Right. Not only that, but it has affected the economy as well, with Malaysia Airlines being, you could say, the carrier flight, the one of the major airlines in Malaysia.
That's the consequence of, losing confidence in the airlines.
Right. With that said, though, Malaysia Airlines is currently undergoing a lot of difficulties, financial difficulties right now in trying to clean itself up after the dual tragedies that happened earlier. The first one happening in March, right?
Right. ครับท่านผู้ชมครับถ้าพูดถึงเรื่องสายการบินแล้วอีกหนึ่ง hot issue ในรอบปี 2014 ที่ผ่านมาแล้วก็ไม่พูดถึงคงไม่ได้ก็คือการหายไปของเครื่องบินของสายการบินมาเลเซียแอร์ไลน์นะครับ MH370 ตอนนั้นออกจาก KL หรือว่ากัวลาลัมเปอร์นะครับเพื่อจะไปที่กรุงปักกิ่งแล้วก็หายไประหว่างทางอันนี้เกิดขึ้นมาก็ยังหาคำตอบได้ยากอยู่ดีนะครับถึงตอนนี้
Officials are still trying to find answers as many victims, families and friends of victims are also still anguished because there has been no conclusion to this unsolved mystery.
Exactly.
So many people will still monitor the situation as we go, as there should be more developments into the year 2015 as this case carries on.
ใช่แล้วครับก็ถือว่าเป็นประเด็น hot issue ของปี 2014 นะครับที่เกิดขึ้นกับมาเลเซียแอร์ไลน์แล้วก็น่าจะส่งผลถึงเรื่องของความมั่นใจต่อเนื่องไปถึงปี 2015 เลยนะครับการค้นหาการสืบค้นก็คงยังต้องดำเนินต่อไปนะครับข้ามปีกันเลยทีเดียวและยิ่งมาเจอเรื่องของ Air Asia ไปอีกรอบหนึ่งด้วยเนี่ยยิ่งทำให้คนที่เกี่ยวข้องน่าจะต้องทำงานหนักขึ้นนะครับ
Right, indeed. So this has been a very tragic year indeed, once again, for flights.Right. Malaysia Airlines
and both happen in Southeast Asia.
Right, both in
cases.
Southeast Asia, which is definitely very surprising and all involve major casualties as well. Malaysia Airlines MH370, altogether losing 239 people on board.
Right.
And MH17 as well, losing all of their people in the crash.
Yeah.
That has been shot down.
Wow. So 2014, lots of tragedy.
Right.
In terms of airline businesses.
Right. Hopefully, no more to come.
Right. In 2015.
Right. But speaking of the sea areas, a lot of the planes had gone missing around the sea. The sea, like the Air Asia missing around the Java Sea, and with the the Malaysia Airlines missing in the Indian Ocean. Many people have assumed. And recently, another ongoing dispute, which will continue to follow as well, is not involving airlines, but it's involving a country, you could say, dispute between countries in the South China Sea.
Right, which of course involve lots of a number of Southeast Asian member countries.
Right. For example, the Philippines, Vietnam,
yes.
Right? Taiwan as well,
even
to a certain extent.
Yes, even Brunei.
Taipei or Taiwan also, a non-ASEAN member country.
ใช่แล้วครับพูดถึงเรื่องhot issue อีกเรื่องหนึ่งนะครับก็คงหนีไม่พ้นนะครับเรื่องของข้อพิพาทในแถบทะเลจีนใต้นะครับซึ่งก็เป็นปัญหาสะสมมานานทีเดียวนะครับแล้วก็ในปี 2014 ที่ผ่านมานี้ก็มีข่าวออกมาเยอะแยะทีเดียวนะครับรวมถึงรายการ Asean Challenge เราก็นำเสนอนะครับเรื่องข้อพิพาทของทะเลจีนใต้เนี่ยกันมาอย่างต่อเนื่องเลยเพราะว่ามีส่วนเกี่ยวข้องกับประเทศในแถบ Southeast Asia หรือว่าเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้หลายประเทศนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นเวียดนามฟิลิปปินส์บรูไนนะครับ
Right. So this story has yet to unwind and wrap up as it continues to unfold and develop. Over the past year, it seems a lot of hostility and aggressiveness has increased between various countries involving China, Philippines, and Vietnam, for example, and still has yet to conclude as various countries claim their territorial areas in the South China Sea.
And this is a very complicated issue, actually. Perhaps we've actually put lots of effort in 2014 to try to find solution to the dispute, but perhaps not that easy. And in 2015, perhaps we need to still keep updating and trying to find the solution for the dispute in the South China Sea นะครับก็ต้องลองดูนะครับท่านผู้ชมว่าในปี 2015 นี้เนี่ยนะครับจะสามารถเรียกว่าแก้ปัญหาข้อพิพาทนะครับในทะเลจีนใต้ได้สำเร็จหรือไม่หลังจากที่ในปี 2014 ก็พยายามนะครับหลายประเทศก็พยายามแก้ปัญหากันมาต่อเนื่องทีเดียวนะครับ
So indeed, 2015 is a year to watch and a year to monitor in terms of developments that continue to unfold, like we mentioned, the South China Sea dispute, along with many other tragic unfolding unsolved mysteries like the plane issues.
Still lots of challenges for ASEAN community.
Many challenges ahead. All right, with that said, though, some food for thought. Let's take a short break. Now coming up is a list of important events in the ASEAN calendar. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In the first week of 2015, it's a very important week for all ASEAN countries, as many people and in various respective countries revel in New Year revelries despite tragedies in the past.
กลับมานะครับสู่ช่วงที่ 3 ของรายการ Asean Challenge ซึ่งเป็นเรียกว่าเทปแรกนะครับของปีนี้นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเดี๋ยวเราก็จะไปดูกันนะครับว่าในประเทศอาเซียนนั้นเฉลิมฉลองปีใหม่กันอย่างไรบ้างนะครับ
All right, let's go take a look. so much color, vibrance, and festivity.
right ครับ
Very
ก็
exciting.
ได้เห็นแล้วนะครับก็น่าสนใจทีเดียวแล้วก็มีสีสันสวยงามมากเลยนะครับ
Right. Hopefully, your celebrations have been as festive and colorful as well. All right. So with that said, the celebrations continue around ASEAN. With that, we take another short break. But coming up, another very fascinating interview in ASEAN Interview. Stay tuned. In ASEAN Interview here, we take a look at our very important interviews and colorful interviews over the past year, which have really added a lot of information.
very informative interview
Informative interviews
ครับ
in our ASEAN Challenge show.
ใช่แล้วครับในช่วง ASEAN Interview วันนี้นะครับเราก็จะพาทุกท่านนะครับกลับไปดูกันนะครับว่าในปีที่ผ่านมานะครับมีการสัมภาษณ์อะไรที่น่าสนใจกันบ้างครับ
Let's go take a look.
I'm now with our special guest today, the Associate Professor Dr. Panitan Wattanayakon, the Advisor for the Security to the Deputy Prime Minister. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ
Thank you so much for coming here with us today. Talking about the political security, how do you think that it is important and how will it affect the Thai and also the ASEAN community?
Well, I think the security situation in Southeast Asia is now interconnected.
Yes.
Not only in terms of issues in many areas, for example, take the migration issues
Yes.
and economic issues. They are intertwined and interconnected. Also, regional countries like Thailand and Myanmar and other ASEAN members are also interconnected in terms of security. It is now not only Myanmar to be secure, Thailand is to be secure together with Myanmar also on the same issues. Take a recent issue again.
Yes.
When we had difficulties in managing the labor migrations and numbers of the foreign workers had to return home temporarily.
Yes.
It created impact not only to Thailand but to Myanmar as well, or to Cambodia.
Yes.
So these are the new environment where security issues and countries in the same complex, we call a security complex,
Yes.
Have to manage their security issues together. This is why Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN is very important in terms of becoming a community.
Yes.
And within becoming a community in the next few months at the end of
This.
next year,
Yes, next year.
the pillars
Yes.
of the community will be include, of course, security and political
Yes, it
community.
is one of the main three pillars
Yes,
of the ASEAN
APSC,
community. Yes.
and then of course economic pillar,
Yes.
the AEC that we are quite commonly known now,
Yes.
ASEAN Economic Community, and less common known is also the last pillar, the
The social and-
socio-cultural
Yes.
community. Together, these three pillars form a fundamental principles of stability and security of all 10 countries.
This Marina Barrage, like how many zones does this have?
Okay, for Marina Barrage, when we do the tour itself, they will bring you to 3 different places. So we have the Marina Bridge, okay, and then we have the Singapore Sustainable Gallery, where we talk about the Singapore water story. And then finally we will end off here where we are right now. This is actually the green roof.
The green
yeah, the
roof.
green roof, which is actually open to public access. They are able to do lifestyle activities over here.
Like a picnic and like
Picnic, kite flying. You can even do events and festivals. You are actually allowed to use the area here. So we do have security in the area. So what happens is that it's actually open 24/7, 24 days. Yeah, 24 hours a day,
Oh,
7
wow.
days a week. So
Okay.
there's no issue there.
wow, and
right.
like you have secure
Yeah.
for people who
Yeah,
come.
security. The whole area is open for public use.
Okay, and how long this the Marina Barrage open?
Marina Barrage, we opened here in 31st October 2008.
Okay,
Took
around-
about 2.5 years to actually construct the area. So previously, when we did not have the Marina Bridge to dam up the Marina Channel, okay, the waters inside of the area on the southern tip is actually a mixture of the rainwater and also the water that we get from the sea. So having this barrage, okay, the dam itself, we are able to separate our rainwater and our seawater. As we do that, we are able to have the 15 reservoir in Singapore, which is the Marina Reservoir. So in Singapore, this is very important because number one, we have actually three main benefits having this area. So number one is your water supply. Secondly would be flood control. And the last one where we are right now is the lifestyle attraction. Yeah, that's right.
So another question left about, in your opinion, which ASEAN country do you think has the highest education
Of
standard?
course, Singapore, because it's in the world top 5.
Oh, is that so?
Like Finland, Denmark, Sweden, Singapore, and South Korea is in the top 5. So
see.
no doubt about it.
What pushes them to be on the top 5?
Because the government are serious about it. And Ministry of Education in Singapore, they try to learn from Scandinavia, like from Finland, from Denmark, from Sweden, and from South Korea. They
Right.
try to improve by benchmarking.
I see. The interesting part about Finland, for example, and even Germany, they have a free education system.
Yes.
So is that similar in Singapore?
Singapore is not free education. They divide the primary and secondary school into independent schools and neighborhood school. And neighborhood school, the quality is, of course, is not good as independent school. But independent school does not mean it's really independent, because half of independent school is by the central government, funded by central government, and the other is really private school. But this group, they categorize as independent schools.
There you go. So now ASEAN has an education system to aspire to in Singapore. ท่านผู้ชมคะอาจารย์บอกว่าถ้าถามว่าในประเทศอาเซียนนะคะประเทศไหนที่มีการศึกษาระบบการศึกษาที่มาตรฐานสูงที่สุดนะคะอาจารย์ก็บอกว่าแน่นอนต้องเป็นสิงคโปร์เพราะว่ารัฐบาลค่อนข้างจะซีเรียสมากในการโปรโมทการศึกษาในประเทศสิงคโปร์นะคะเพราะว่าการศึกษาของรัฐบาลสิงคโปร์นี่จะเน้นตามการศึกษาระบบการศึกษาที่ประเทศฟินแลนด์เป็นตัวอย่างนะคะกับระบบอื่นๆแถวสแกนดิเนเวียซึ่งเขาเป็นประเทศที่จะเน้นการศึกษามากที่สุดด้วยเช่นกันนะคะ Alright, now on to colleges and universities around Thailand. What do you think are the strengths of different universities around the ASEAN community?
You mean every country?
In
or
different countries.
In
Can you
different
evaluate
countries,
some?
like in Singapore, they are very good at business, at medicine, as engineering. They are very good. In the Philippines, mostly in service sector. And in Thailand, we are good at mass media, journalism, art, and hospitality, for example, like that, and political science. And in Malaysia, I think it's about political science, also very strong. And the other country like Indonesia also engineer is quite okay, but they have few engineering faculties.
I see.
Yeah.
In the class, do you think that teacher have any influence on your study?
Well, for me, yes, I think pretty much because teacher as the person who giving you knowledge, right? Everything that is come from teacher, whatever they say, you need to, take note because that's
Okay.
very important in the classroom. And then one more thing that teacher, in Malaysia, they used to ask student opinions. What do you think? What about you like that? So it's be like student can express their opinion in that sport. Yeah.
So it's kind of like two ways communication, right?
Yes,
Where
it's
teacher
like
also
exchange
teach.
experience.
Exchange. Okay. And what about you? Do you get a chance to express your opinion as well?
Yes, I teacher will give us to give the opinion. Yes, I have one time that teacher spend their class for students who talk about one topic.
Okay.
All students can talk with this topic.
Oh,
Yes, they want the opinion of the students, all of the students. Yes.
Okay. So it is somehow unlike some part of the countries where only students can only join and listen to the teachers, but in this circumstance, you also get a chance to express your opinion as well, right? And what about other interesting difference that you experience? Do you also have to wear uniform when you go to school?
Well, basically we are lucky because we just like freestyle. We don't have a uniform to wear. It's just like as soon as you cover it properly, so that's enough.
Okay, so you don't have any particular uniforms that you
Yes.
have to wear. And do you think why in Malaysia they don't pay much attention on uniform?
I think uniform is just like a symbolic. It's just like things that okay, you come from this university, this school. It's just like showing others that you come from which school or which university. I don't think
Yes.
that's important. Yeah, because in my university, we just like wearing things which is proper, which is follow the rule that we need to cover our head, we need to
Yes.
cover properly. That's the main focus in our university because I think like students also like it. Maybe this is the main reason why I choose to study there
Yes, I
because
see.
we don't have uniform. Yeah.
So it's kind of like freestyle.
Yes.
Yeah, that is great.
I work at the Cambodia Landmine Museum. I met Akira in 2003 when a friend of mine asked me for $100 to help out a man he had met in Cambodia. Akira had been a child soldier with the Khmer Rouge. He'd fought with various armies, and he had a museum where he was caring for a lot of wounded children and he was clearing landmines. I decided I needed to meet this man, so I got on an airplane and I came to Cambodia to find him. When I met him, I asked him how much it cost to clear landmines with a stick and his hands, and he told me $450 a month. So I gave him $900 and started a charity to help him out. In 2007, he asked me to come to Cambodia and help him get a license from the government. I left my business, I came here for 4 months, and wound up here for 2 years. At the end of 2008, my wife came over here and asked me if I had ever thought of moving to Cambodia. And I said, yeah, but I never had the nerve to bring it up. So she left her teaching job in California. We locked up our home and we came here for 2 years. And that was in 2009. This is 2014. So we've been here for 5 years now. So in 2013, we sold our house and all of our stuff in California, and we're here permanently now. My wife runs the English language program in the Children's Center behind us, where we have 21 at-risk village kids living. I work here in the museum, and I also help raise money for our sister NGO that clears landmines in Cambodia. The museum itself exists for a number of reasons. It exists to tell people the story about landmines in Cambodia through Akira's story. It exists to tell people about the landmine problem around the world. and it exists to care for the children who live here. We have 4 rooms here at the museum. The first room tells the story of the museum itself. It was originally located down near the entrance to Angkor Wat. That museum closed in 2007 and moved here. Room number 2 tells the history of the war in Cambodia, how the war developed in Cambodia, and how the landmines came to be laid. Room number 3 shows how landmines actually work. Landmines are defined as victim-activated weapons. They are small bombs that go into the ground and they blow up when you step on them. Now, in the movies, they go click, click, and when you lift your foot off, they blow up. And landmines don't do that. When you step on them, they blow off your legs or they blow off your hands. Room number 3 explains how they work. Room number 4 tells about how we clear landmines today. In the beginning, Akira cleared landmines with a stick and a pair of pliers. He cleared them with whatever tools he had, and most of the time he had no tools at all. He and a lot of other people in the country were trying to make their country safe by getting as much of this stuff out of the ground as he could. Akira was unique in that he was very, very, very good at what he did. He cleared perhaps 50,000 landmines and pieces of unexploded ordnance without ever having an accident or having any problems at all. Other people who were doing this were not always as lucky as he was. So we have rules around the world on how you are to clear landmines, and Akira in 2007 decided that he would get a license from the government and do this professionally and do it to all of the international rules. And it allowed us to raise much more money to help him in his efforts. And then room number 4, we show how we go about clearing landmines today.
At beginning, we focus, in Thailand, right? We we visit several places in Thailand. Later on, we got requested by our customers that they request to, travel, outside the country. So, our first place, we went to Malaysia. That's
Malaysia.
our first place. Yes.
So you bring Thai customers to Malaysia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what other countries do you also offer?
We have Indonesia, we have Singapore, we have Vietnam, we have Laos, and then we have Japan, we have Korea. Yeah.
Okay, so you basically begin by offering the countries which is very near Thailand, for example,
exactly.
Singapore,
Yes.
Malaysia, Indonesia, and then you also have other destinations as well.
Yes.
South Korean.
South Korean,
Japan.
and Japan. Yes.
Okay. And do you think what are the difference between bringing Thai customers to those countries? What makes it different from the other traveling agency?
Okay, you mean in terms of customers or ourselves?
Your company.
Our company. Basically, when we visit several places in many countries, so we face of course, each country they have their own a different style, different culture, different language. So the main thing that we focus is maybe language. It's a barrier there because language. Let's for example Malaysia, right? We went there. We have to know English because majority there they speak English. So if we don't know how to speak their language, of course, so we need to speak with them with English language. Yeah, and then other countries as well Japan, but Japan is not that good in English, so we have our own guide there. Yes. So they just speak in their own language. Yeah.
There you go. Very fascinating interviews over the year 2014 on ASEAN Challenge, and an indicator of many more great interviews up ahead for 2015.
Right. We hope you enjoy 2014's interviews and, of course, the 2015 interview as well.
Right, indeed. And we hope you continue to watch ASEAN Challenge as we present more informative details for you following the ASEAN Challenges ahead for the AEC and much, much more. But thanks for joining us this year, and beginning of 2015, we hope to see a lot more interesting things coming up as well. With that, we've run out of time though, but thanks for joining us this week. We hope you have a happy new year, and we'll see you again soon. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ